Peter G Show. Peter G Show. Divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad. Peter G Show.
Oh, baby, we are here. And I got to tell you, down to the last minute, we are here. Everything's a new kind of cram going on right now. But we are here. And there's that sound. So I suggest all of you get that sound going, turn it up, sit down, kick back, because we are here. Sunday night, Life of Peter G, expansion mode. Yes, sir. Expansion mode. I'll tell you why. Again, I mentioned it last week. That was our first liftoff of the new way we're doing things, but we're doing things in a new way, and the new way means new learning, new cramming, crossing your fingers. But here we are, and I'm really glad we're here. That's why I want you, Facebookers, to start those watch parties. Still, we're delivering this in a whole different way now. So that's the whole deal, is that not only are we going to Facebook Live, we're going to YouTube Live. I never used to push YouTube, but I'm going to start pushing YouTube. But if you are on Facebook, I want you to start those watch parties. It's important. If you are not on YouTube, subscribe to the Peter G Show. I'm going to ask you to subscribe to the Peter G Show. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But in the meantime, how the hell is everybody? Tonight's going to be a big night. That's why I want everything to work. Actually, I want every time I want everything to work. That's really important. But tonight I'm going to have on the show Dr. Bindu Babu. She's from New York. She's got a book. The book is called My Soulmate, My Love, My Narcissist. For those of you who are not familiar with narcissism, you're going to learn something. As the many who are familiar with the term narcissism, narcissistic manners, you're going to understand that it's an evil thing. Some people are really rotten, and it destroys people who are really good and loving. And she's got a book on it. She's a very multifaceted woman, PhD doctor, medical doctor. She's got a long list of titles, but we're going to focus on narcissism because that's a big deal. It ruins people. It destroys people and leaves craters in their souls for life. Excuse me. Last week, we had Miss Laura Wellington. She had a book. I'm doing a lot of book people. She had a book, Be Careful What You Wish For. I thought it was an interesting show. We talked a lot about life. We did. And sorry, I'm multitasking right now. Being with this new format, it brought on a whole bunch of new responsibility, which I don't like. I want to be right here for you. You deserve it. But, desperate times seek desperate measures. I have to do what I have to do to make sure that you get this. But anyway, last week we had, for the first time, going on this new format, which is multi-streaming live, especially YouTube. I'm going to tell you again, you need to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm going to tell you about Facebook. I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm starting to get a little weary, and I think a lot of people are. Things are going to be changing, and if they are, we want to be ready. So I suggest if you have the opportunity to subscribe to YouTube, to the Peter G Show, please do it. Let's all just be prepared if you like what I do. so you can continue on. I mean, life is full of change. It sure is, especially like, again, this show, the way what we're doing. Anyway, let's keep moving. This week, Larry King passed away, 87 years old. Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on. I got to tell you, when I started this show, I kind of envisioned just talking to a camera, kind of like what Larry King did, and taking phone calls like Larry King did. I really did. It worked. It worked. He did it for decades until he started getting, and he was televised, but a lot of times he wouldn't have the guest. He would not have the guest with him. He would just, be talking on a telephone. I mean, you'd hear the audio, and that's how I started. I mean, that's, well, if he could do it, I could do it. Oh, good. Okay. So that's how it all started. And here he was, 62 years in the business. Again, and I always, suspenders. He was kind of, hey, you're on. Jennifer from Philadelphia, you're on. I had to admire the man. I mean, he was working up until recently when he got sick. He stroked out. Look, 87 years old. A lot of people say that's a good life. I really hope I can get into my 90s like my parents did. I was very grateful to be an adult, kinda, and have parents. Because one thing for sure I can tell you is when they're gone, they're gone. And you can't take that back. But, you want to live in, like, I have a daughter. She's only 15. I want to be a ripe old age. I don't want to be a burden, but I want to live to be a ripe old age to watch, to bear the fruits of what I've grown. Hopefully. Because, again, in my mind, I truly believe that the end result of how your children... In fact, I heard an interview today with Larry King, and he said the exact same thing. His best attribute was watching his kids grow up and become something of worth. And to me, you really can't figure out how you did as a parent until you see the end result. And and in my humble opinion right now, I know it's early on in my stage of being a parent, but so far so good. And I'm very grateful for that. And I will continue that. Again, I would not be here sitting in this seat had it not been for my daughter, had it not been for my divorce, had it not been for me changing careers and having to stop dead in my tracks to be a father to that child when she was, only 3, 4, 5 years old. She doesn't know the difference, but I do. Balance. And again, a lot of it's in the genes. She was a very stable child, still is. Kids are kids. If they're crazy and screaming, again, I owe my mother everything. I was a pain in the ass. I was just a boy, I mean, I wasn't a pain in the ass, but I was a boy. Let's put it that way. But either way, moving right along. Larry King passes away at 87 years old. God bless him, in his own crazy interviewing kind of way. He really, he set the gauge for a lot of things. He was doing it early back in the day. As I sit here, I think I watched what he did and wanted to mimic it to a certain extent because I only had so much to work with. So I said, I'll do it this way. It seems doable. And here we are, several years later, still going. All right. So again, in a minute, I'm going to have Dr. Bindu Babu on this show in person, talking to me, talking to you. But first, I got to tell you, I could not be doing it. Oh, I just noticed something. Wow. Didn't this work last week? I can't do that. Oh, my God. All right, it's not working. Green, I forgot. Green screen, and I got green. Oh, boy, I got to change. Bolt Energy. Work with me, people. It's working. Who knew? I didn't even think of this. Bolt Energy. I like Bolt Energy. Why Bolt Energy? No preservatives. Bolt Energy is a cleaner energy drink. This is trippy. Wow, you can see through the can. No preservatives. Go find an energy drink with no preservatives. I'm a professional. I'll rise above this, okay? Never a dull moment. No preservatives. Go find it in an energy drink. You're not going to find it. They're the only energy drink with no preservatives. My Bolt Energy people are workout fanatics. They are. It's like the Hulk. And then there's me. It's enriched with vitamins, antioxidants, but most of all for me, it tastes good. I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't know if any of you guys, a lot of people, I have friends that don't even speak without getting coffee in them. It's like, I'm not like that, but I like something bright and refreshing in the morning. I don't like, I'll drink coffee if I have to, but that's almost like last resort. So, it's not that I need this every day, but there's days, let's face it, as you get older, there's times when your get up and go just doesn't want to, get up and go. And a little of this, and it doesn't get you that caffeine crazy rush. You're all jittery and all that. It's all natural. So they're putting things into your body that just helps your body get going. And then, I know why it worked last week and have this set up. Sorry, again, I'm getting off track. And then when it's wearing off, you're not crashing because it's just natural stuff that gives you that natural little kick and you get going. Bolt Energy. Ask for it in stores. If you can't find Bolt Energy, go to www.drinkboltenergy and ask them. Say, where can I get Bolt Energy at? And you know what? I'd ask in the stores too. Say, you guys got Bolt Energy? Tell them the Peter G Show sent you. That'll work. All right, I'm going to crack open a can. This is to another beautiful night. I got a great guest. You're going to really be glad that you're here tonight. And I want you to share it. Watch party people, start sharing, because believe me, plethora of information that does your body good, mind and soul. Salute. Oh, holy crap, that's good. I mean that. Bolt Energy. Ask for it. Go get you some. I wouldn't have thought oh my God. And it's a see-through can. It's magic. All right, here's what we got. So this is what I'm going to do right now. I think I am right now. Sorry. I'm almost on schedule. I'm going to bring on from New York City, Dr. Bindu Babu. I don't even know where to start with her. She's complicated in a non-complicated kind of way. But we're going to find that out and we're going to talk to her. But we're going to focus on one of the things that she specializes in. You ready, doctor? All right, here we go. So with no more of me, I'm going to bring on, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Whoops. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. We made it. Yeah. I just want to make sure that you're heard and seen. I tell you, that was the biggest thing for me, is making sure that everybody is so because we got a lot to talk about tonight. We really do, whether you know it or not.
I'm going to find out.
Yes, you are. You're going to find out because, again, I want to get some background on you. I want people to know about you because I found you. I don't know how we hooked up. Again, another LinkedIn miracle, I call it. Somehow or another, we got LinkedIn. Basically, I guess the name speaks for itself. And then you said to me, you know what? Nice to meet you. Whatever. If there's ever anything I can do for you, I'd be more than happy to do it for you. I'd be more than happy to help. And then I looked at it and I go, well, all right. And then I said, how about coming on my show? And that was 6 months ago, because I couldn't get an answer out of you because she's not looking at her messages. I didn't have a phone number on you, but all of a sudden I started looking you up and I'm going, you're kind of interesting. And then it's like, this is what happened. This is the story of my life. I get people to go, hey, I'd love to be, on your show and this and that. And then I can't find them anymore. But finally, I don't know how it surfaced. One day you answered me. I said, good, let's get together. And here we are. Tell my 3 million people a little bit about yourself, please.
So actually, we were supposed to have a week ago, but I had a family emergency too.
Yes, you did.
And and I had to reschedule. And I said, you and I have been trying to touch base for some time.
Yes.
But, so anyway, a little bit about myself is I am a physician. But I went through my own journey where I was picking up things that didn't make sense to me intuitively. But I also went through a very tragic time in my life where I felt like I needed healing. Anyhow, I read this book by Dr. Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters. This is another fellow MD who's done his undergrad, medical school, everything from Yale, Ivy League. And he he was a chairman of psychiatry in the hospital in Florida. And this is back in the 80s. So as he was doing psychotherapy and hypnotherapy on his patients, he tapped into their past lives. So this was pretty interesting to me because here we are, a educated physician. He's got plenty of publications. He's chairman of psychiatry. And you're talking about somebody who's now going out of the realm of science. And that book changed my world. It changed my life. It changed everything that I do. It confirmed my own belief structure where, I understood that there's more to healing besides just allopathic medicine. And many of my colleagues most probably would say, oh, is she practicing woo or all these different expectations or speaking? But, when you understand the preventative point of medicine, where it originated, and the fact that antibiotics didn't even come till the 50s, you have to understand people couldn't have been dying from a strep throat. So I went through my journey. I did my doctorate in natural medicine. Then I did my PhD in integrated medicine. I became a Reiki master. And of course, I went after Dr. Brian Weiss himself and became trained by him to become a past life regression therapist. So I utilized all these different avenues and modalities of healing. And the real prime purpose was healing from, for me, narcissistic toxic relationships. And for most, any toxic relationships, because people go through a lot in life, whether it's career oriented or whether it's certain blocks or whether it's trying to find life purpose, whether it could be grief. And many of the times it's relationship issues, divorce. How do you heal from that? We all know that it's a lot to do, medications such as Xanax or any of the antidepressants and Zoloft and so forth, they're there, but they don't solve your problem. They help alleviate the symptoms, but you still have to heal. So I wanted to find a remedy. I needed a remedy not only for myself, but to so many out there with our limiting beliefs, with cultural aspects, with so many plethora of, how can I say, roadblocks that are in our mind of when certain circumstances have happened in our lives that's out of our control. What are the decisions you make? And with that sadness, with that hurts, and sometimes anger, betrayal, how do you come out of that? So it has a lot to do with inner being and inner healing. So that's what I do. I've spoken at several conferences and psychiatric world congresses. I've been organizing committee members. I've spoken. I've keynoted all over the world: London, South Africa, Italy, Prague, you name it. And it's been a really beautiful experience for myself to really speak about quantum healing methodologies, especially in narcissistic toxic relationships. So I am a life coach, and I consult with a lot of people, not only for narcissistic relationships, also for life purpose, blocks, career, so many things of inner healing that people have to go through for clarity. And I authored my book, My Soulmate, My Love, My Narcissist. And that's the healing and recovery of narcissistic toxic relationships. And how do you proceed with that?
Okay, but it sounds like, I've seen all this list. You're on all kinds of boards. You're on, and you've got all these different types, but you're a medical physician. At the end of the day, if I'm sick, do you practice? What is your main practice right now? What keeps you most busy?
No, what I practice now is I don't practice allopathic medicine. I practice holistic medicine. I practice coaching and consulting with my clients, and speaking in the healing and recovery of narcissistic relationships, or healing and recovery of any relationship, especially divorce. I do a lot of women empowerment. So this is what I do.
How do you juggle it all?
I believe when you have a passion for something, and when you've gone through a certain tragedy in your life, and you know what it felt like to be like fish out of water, you wouldn't want that on somebody else. And
Okay.
if I found a way to help myself, I want to help others.
So okay, this is where I was going, because again, I'm here because I'm leading by example, or I started off by leading by example. Sounds to me like you have that same path.
Yes.
Okay, so let's back it up a little bit more. Married, single, divorced, never married,
Divorced.
divorced. How long were you married for?
I was married for, let's see, -5. I guess about 12 years. 12,
Okay.
13 years.
Kids, no kids.
I have 4 children. I'm a single mother. I take care of all of them.
What's the age range?
So from 17, 15, 10, and 7. My 3
7.
boys and my little girl. Yeah,
Oh, little girl. Oh, there you go.
I know. They're so
I
cute.
know. Well, I mean, it just
How old
so
are
you.
yours?
I only have one. I have one, but she's 15. And again, to look at her, she looks like a grown woman already. But the thing, it goes by that quick. And but I mean, it's been a crazy journey. And the one thing my ex-wife said to me a long time ago was, she's only going to be little for a very short time, and she was actually very right. And I honestly miss those days, because now it's she's got an agenda, and she's busy, and it's not like when I want to spend time, because we split her up, and it's a lot easier now. But it's like I got to do things that she's doing, otherwise she doesn't have time. She's very involved in equestrian stuff, and I mean, she works hard. It's not like she's out goofing around. I'm very, very lucky, but to juggle 4. Now some are older, so they kind of take care of themselves now, right?
They do. My oldest is 17. He's a senior. And now he's going to college. So there's a lot of, they're all in different brackets of different things in their life that they're dealing with. So it's almost like switching from one gear to another gear to another gear, and then the child gear. So it's pretty fun. But I love my moms, the school moms. They are fabulous. Like when I can't juggle it all and I sit there, I'm like, oh my God. And then I text and she's like, no, you can do this, or I'll help you pick them up. I mean, thank God for network. I've been very blessed with good friends and good solid back in that sense to help me through.
Gotcha. So here's where I'm going now, because this is how it all started. Divorce for most is not a really good, and we're going to get into your book, I swear, but I just want to build the foundation on how you reach to grab this stuff, to be this person, to be able to talk about this stuff, because that's how I am this person. I would have never thought in a million years I'd be talking about this kind of thing until I actually had to live it, which I wish I never did, but I did. And my whole thing is now to pass the word on, or to share the story, because there's a lot of people that can't handle a lot of things, and they go down a bad road or spiral downward, and they don't deserve that, and so okay, so you went through a divorce. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that life leading to divorce was kind of crazy.
Sure. I think anybody would tell you that divorce isn't easy. Nobody got married on the aspect that they were going to divorce.
That's correct.
No one did that. I mean, everybody, when you get married, you look at that person as your ultimate destination, right? You made a strong decision not only to be with that person for the rest of your life. You're going to die. You most probably planned your graves together. I mean, there's so many different aspects that now you are not only torturing yourself from your own belief structures and what you thought was going to be that you have decided. Now you have to deal with society, people, friends, finances. It was interesting just recently, I was speaking at an event. There was a question, and the woman was talking to me about last names. She's getting a divorce, and she's like, well, I don't know what I should do. Should I keep the name? Should I lose the name? And it's a horrible feeling. You have to decide now that, you're divorced. It's like almost like this identity that you had is also getting broken. So it's tough. And then imagine if it was toxic and all sorts of other stuff and in-laws and God knows what, right? So
would you say that you went through a lot of that toxicity?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I noticed.
Me. Go ahead. not only me.
No.
You know what I was trying to say was what happens in most cultures. You know, and I used to think it was more of an Indian culture. You know, where you would be scrutinized to make that kind of a decision to divorce, in the sense of, well, if you get divorced, what would the people say? What would your society say? What
Sure.
would the church say? What would the religious say? And I know a lot of people in my community that hang on to a thread of staying married just for the sake of those reasons, you know. And it's miserable. You know, I'm not an advocate of divorce. I just want you to know that.
I don't think anybody is, but unfortunately, people get divorced every 15 minutes like it's nothing nowadays. If you're bored, you know, this isn't working.
Right.
I've said it a million times, and I will continue for those who don't get to hear. But my parents argued like Fred and Ethel, you know. But at the end of the day, that their generation learned to brush it off, and because there was a reason why you got together. There's a reason why you had 4 children, and you know. But things change, life has changed, and you know, there's a lot of differences and indifferences that are tolerable and yet not tolerable anymore. And people just like throw things in the garbage, you know, way too quickly. And so you're Indian, right? As if, you know, your name kind of gave me a hint, but you know, but the thing is, I think the Indian culture's a tough culture. You know what I mean? It's like old school.
But you know what I realized? So are the Italians. So are the Irish. I hear it from so many people, especially in my work, men and women saying, I can't do that. My grandmother would kill me. The Catholic Church, you know, we're Catholic. We don't do that.
Well,
we don't do that. We're Catholics. It's impossible. I'm just going to have to deal with it. And it's so much pressure. So, you know, we would think it's the Indian culture, but I think all cultures, to some degree, they're afraid. They're afraid of either their church, or they're afraid of their family or their society, or what someone's going to say.
And then you got the whole bunch that just don't give a crap about nothing. And it's like, you know, it's my life. I'm going to live my life. And this isn't happening. I'm not happy anymore. You know, it's like, you know, you can't have, every day can't be a bowl of cherries. I mean, we're in a really rough world.
Now,
you know?
You made a commitment. When you get married, you made a commitment to whatever God or universe you believe in.
Okay. But there are some
that's a promise you made, right? But that's a promise you made. So you must try your best, in your best ability, to make things work. Forgive, forget. But if it's toxic,
right,
then you're talking about a different ball game, because there's no respect. You
right.
know? We all make mistakes, and everybody has the capacity of how much they can forgive, okay, and move on. But there's some circumstances, like if you're married with a narcissist, or if you're married with someone who's a physical abuser or extreme emotional abuser. No, life is just once. Life is too short. And there's so many avenues behind that too, right? In the sense, if you stay with a person who is physically abusive, that's what you're normalizing in front of your children.
Right.
You know, you're normalizing that.
Sure.
And guess what? That's what you're going to bring to your children, and your children most probably will follow the same thing and be like, all right, I'm okay, I forgive you, because my parents made it happen. So this is what I should do. Or my mom took it, or my dad took the abuse, and this is what I should do. And do you really want to do that?
Again, at the end of the day, as my parents got older, and my parents lived into their early 90s, and I was very thankful. Up until recently, I've become an orphan, you know, within the past 5 years for both of them. And no, look, they were in their upper. Most people would say you're really lucky, and they lived into their 90s. I was 55 years old when my mother passed away, and up until 2 years ago, my father just passed away. You know, and they could be 150, and it's never long enough. That's why when you told me, you know, you had a family emergency, all that, believe me, I get it. I mean, because you keep thinking
That's
like,
scary.
you know, yeah, it's like. You don't think, you know, you keep thinking you're going to get through the tough times as you get older, but eventually one day that train runs out of fuel, you know, and you know, realistically, I understand, but the other party doesn't want to let go. You know what I mean? You want everything to be forever, and you just get comfortable with them being old, and it's okay, because that's okay, and then it's over, you know, and it's tough. It's again, I that's with Facebook. I watch a lot of people. I have a pretty big following on all my pages, and you know, who doesn't every day somebody's losing somebody. It's just the way it is, So I always try to write these people, and just, it's like, if that's love, and you're never going to get over it, but you just have to learn how to deal with it and live off the memories that keep you going.
Right.
What are you going to do? All right. Here's the thing that told me that there's a side of you that, that's when I started getting deep, that you're writing, you're teaching from within. Saw a picture of you, and you got a lot of hair. And, okay.
Thank you.
And your hair was like wavy curly in this picture. Okay.
Okay. I know the post.
And you wrote something about that. And you want to tell the story, or you probably could tell it better?
So my hair originally is curly. Like, I look like Beyonce curly hair. And I've always had so I always had curly hair since high school, college. I hardly ever straightened it, maybe for special occasions or something like that. But I was always curly hair. But my ex just did not like my hair. He basically told me that I was trying to get the wrong type of attention, and my hair was so wild, and I only wear it that way because I'm seeking a man's attention and all sorts of things. And I was so degraded that I actually believed that I must be doing that subconsciously, and I stopped. I would go to the hair salon and sit for no, I'm not even kidding, 12 hours between the Japanese straightening and the Brazilian straightening and God knows what. And I did that for almost 10 to 12 years because I would do anything to please my ex and not get the wrath of that. If a person or a man looked at me in a wrong way, it was terrible, because he'd be like, well, you did it. You asked for it. It's your hair. So for all these years, I didn't wear it. And I think one day, I couldn't blow out my hair. It was too late. I was running out, and my hair was all out there. And I took a picture, and after the first time I posted it, I was scared when I posted it, but I wanted to get myself out of my zone, and I said, no, this is my hair. And if it's, I love myself with whatever it is, I don't care. And the response that I got from that photograph was so overwhelming that I decided to update that post and explain that post of how difficult it was for me to post that, and how much I had changed myself in my life and who I was on the account of pleasing somebody else. I was never good enough, myself. And meanwhile, most people would think when they're outside, they're like, oh, you're a pretty decent looking woman, and you're smart, you're intelligent. And a lot of people don't realize that it's all types of women. And I'm going to take women who get involved in these type of relationships and don't know what they're going through, because it's like inch by inch, they mind screw you, and you believe every word they say. And I'm telling you, anyone who's been a narcissist, and I know there's a lot of specialists out there on this now, but not when I went through this. It was nothing. That's why I did my thesis on this. But you have to be through that to understand the gravity of what it's like to be with a narcissist. There's no words to explain that.
But here we are now. I'm looking at you. You wrote that, you posted that picture, and I'm thinking I'm going to see this woman with wavy, curvy, curly hair, and your hair is straight again. What's up with that?
No, I do both now. I do both. Nothing else.
Okay. I
like my curly. I like my straight. It depends on my mood. Now I don't care.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, you know what I mean. You come to the point where it's like, I love myself for who I am. It's whatever I want to do. And actually, my hair is a little bit on the wavy.
Just checking. The only reason, because when I saw you do that, I go, okay, so now you're going to be yourself. You finally came out of that shell, so to speak. And obviously, I saw you got great responses from it. I mean, it looked natural. I don't know, whatever. It was you. No matter what, how you do your hair or whatever, it's you. And so I took that. I go, okay, then I knew there was a deeper thing behind you just being a doctor there's a lot of doctors that, they're book smart and they preach, but there's a lot of things I truly believe in that you don't have to, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be educated, you should, but there's a lot of things that life teaches you that's an education that books can never teach you. Unfortunately, good and not good. You know what I mean? But it's an experiment.
Like I think about a couple years ago, I would never post that picture, nor would I walk out of the house. Like I would tie up my hair.
Because you didn't like what you saw, or you didn't want to catch the wrath from it?
No, I believed in both the wrath from my ex and the fact that it didn't look good on me. And I thought I was maybe subconsciously like, you're in that zone. You lose who you are. You're so it's a term called gaslighting. And you're so gaslit that you actually believe in this.
Really?
Yeah. For example, right, when you first, so with the narcissist, when you first start a relationship with them, the first 3 months is like amazing. Like the honeymoon period where they come and take you on the best dates and very attentive, texts you back immediately, says how much they care for you. And it's so intense, giving the flowers and the chocolates and the cakes and the presents and, really, really wooing you. And you really believe that this person's in love with you and you met the love of your life and your soulmate. And then all of a sudden, it's exactly around the 3-month line. The narcissist starts acting where it's like so subtle. For example, let's say the same dress that, she was wearing and they're about to go out somewhere. All of a sudden, the narcissist will turn around and say, you know what? I think that dress is a little short. And it's going to catch unwanted attention. You don't want to do that, right? You don't want anyone to call you a slut or some negative terminology like that.
So
right?
it was okay when he took you out. It was okay when he was dating you in that dress, but now that he's got you in that dress, it's no good.
Yeah, and slowly, but the way they do it is not, it's not good. It's, I'm helping you. You're not aware. You don't know how men think. These are the words that they use on their victims. You don't know how men think. You don't understand. I'm helping you to become a better person.
Who cares what they think? You're not with them.
No, if you're with who? You talk about the narcissist?
What men think. Like you're going out, you're attractive, and you're going out, and people look at you. It's like, well, nobody's blind. Everybody has eyes. I mean, that's how it all works.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about a narcissist who's like, I love you. I'm trying to make you a better person. You don't want to look like a whore in public.
Oh.
Okay. And you know what? Let me, you don't realize this. So let me help you. And you believe that what happens is you believe that the narcissist loves you so much that they're trying to protect and save you. So you follow through because it's delivered so brilliantly. So brilliantly. And then eventually it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And then you're trapped because you're so busy trying to please them because you want that honeymoon phase back.
Is it safe to say that you were in that type of relationship? I mean, that you can, narcissism, that, because again, I think Indian men are really tough on women. I do. I mean, I know there's bad everything. No,
but this is not about ethnicity or anything.
Sure,
and I wasn't even married to an Indian. So it has nothing to do with
mind
that.
Then. Never mind. Well, there goes my whole theory.
No, this is an actual personality disorder. And you would be surprised how many women and men are going through it. It's verbatim.
I'm not surprised. I mean, that's why you're on this show. But see, again, my bad. I didn't know. And at least I didn't say you had an arranged marriage. But I don't know, because I've been fortunate enough. Again, I've been around and taught, and I get to a lot of cultures and this and that. And I just find that, there's still that, if you're old school, there's those cultures that are like, women, walk behind the man, you know what I mean? Or in Asia, they wear little wooden shoes and it's just
very submissive. And,
yeah. And it's a whole different, in America, it's like I found that people, they'll go and get some woman from Europe or this and that. They come here, they get Americanized, and they start going, whoa, it's like, this is great. It's like, what are you doing to me? I don't need you no more. It's like, thank you for the freedom. But okay.
Well, that's the difference. I mean, that's a big difference of culture and standards. And you have to understand, it's only considered suppression if the person feels like they're being suppressed. There's a lot of women who feel proud to do those things because of their culture and their beliefs.
Now, make no mistake, it's not just men beating on women; it's women do the same thing as well. Correct?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sure.
Let's.
Oh no. Yeah. No. You and that could be pretty nasty. It's just that statistically, it's higher in men, but women, it is very much prevalent in women.
Yeah, hard to believe, but I mean that you got a woman just beating down a man, but it happens a lot. There's a lot of men that really love their whoever they're with, and it's just you start bending and bending. I had one guy, he used to look at me and go, he says, I'm not doing that, I'm just I'm avoiding controversy or something like that, however he used to put it. And it was like, oh come on. I go, you're turning into a wuss. And she was just slowly just beating him down, and he didn't even realize it.
Right. It works both ways.
All right, so here's what we're going to. So now let's dive into the book. Okay, you have a book and entitled "My Soulmate, My Love, My Narcissist." Correct?
Yes.
Explain to those who are not familiar. I'm kind of backing it up, even though we kind of touched on it already. But in your definition of narcissism, I mean, a narcissist. Explain that for those who are very fortunate to never have experienced this and don't, have that. And God forbid they ever have to go through it. They know what to look for.
So, you know what? The first thing is trust your red flags. Okay, in any relationship, you have, when you see those red flags, stop excusing that. All right, that's number one. Number two, when you talk about narcissism, and it's unfortunate in today's world, everybody throws the word narcissist at anyone who takes like about a couple hundred selfies, or they'd like to talk about themselves more, but that's not really what a narcissist is. A narcissist is actually a person who has a personality disorder called a narcissistic personality disorder. It's defined by Mayo Clinic as DSM-5 category, and it is a person who is self-involved, egotistical, completely entitled, and will pull down the other person to feel value about themselves. They are somebody who do not love themselves at all, but always acts like they're the star of the show and always needs that kind of attention from wherever they go for that validation. So when you think of a narcissist and you hear all these terms and the negativity, that's not exactly what they appear like. They're usually the star of a show, or they go to a party and they're the highlight, and they're the most charming and the most magnetic, and have a lot of laughter, and they're all amazing people to hang out with. But besides that, the whole purpose of that is because they need to be the center of attention, and without that, they do not feel loved or validated. So what happens when they get into a relationship, they always pick a victim, and usually somebody who's very independent. In the sense of, mostly if it's, let's say, a male narcissist, they would pick a woman who is extremely educated, has a good financial standing, could be the CEO of a company, and they get a real good high if they're able to control these people. If you can get a very strong woman to grovel for you, it feeds their ego. And this cycle continues where it's the groveling and the headache of what they do. And then the next minute, it's the showering of the love and the happiness. If you do what I say, I'm going to reward you with all my love and attention. And the minute a narcissist gets bored, again, they sit down and they start picking, on their victim again. And it's very sad. Most of these people who are abused, they feel like they're in a soulmate relationship. They feel very committed. They feel like there's no one who can understand their partner like the way they do, and they'll do anything to get that honeymoon phase back. But it's, it's horrific.
Huh. So, oh, look at that. Somebody's saying hi to us. Do you feel that the person that is the narcissist, do you feel that they don't that they actually don't love the person that they're with, and they're just like buying time or hanging out? I mean, how does that all work?
Well, narcissists, they love the person they're with, but they love themselves first. So narcissists will always put themselves first and their needs, but they will never be unconditionally in love with anyone. Never. They don't even love themselves first. So when I say love themselves first, is they put their priority of themselves first. It doesn't matter what comes in the way. It's always them first and their needs to get the attention, the validation, the supply to be completely fed all the time, no matter what. And they will do anything to control the other person to get that.
Huh. Okay. So I can't figure out how to get this thing that's off the screen. Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, so let's go back into the book. Okay, you wrote this book starting from where, I don't want you to give the whole book away, but why would somebody who really needs to know about this kind of stuff from start to finish, kind of sort of, what would they, I mean, what do they need from this? Why would they want this need of this book?
So most people, first of all, don't even realize they're involved in a narcissistic relationship, right? They just realize that they're in love with their partner and they're walking on eggshells and they're scared to move either right or left to upset that individual, because if they upset them, the wrath is so bad that they are always scared they're going to lose their partner with their threats and, all their behaviors. So you start realizing there's such a terrific, horrendous pattern, but you can't get yourself out and you don't understand why this is happening. And you actually do believe this is your fault. Either, you didn't cook the food right, or you talked to somebody and they looked at you the wrong way, and all these different things. They actually believe it's their fault and they're upsetting and they're a bad partner for the narcissist, but it's actually the vice versa. So when you read my book, you will see the actual science as well as the layman terms of the whole narcissistic cycle, the cycle of abuse that you're actually in. You'll recognize that and you'll see verbatim how exact that is for you. You're going to hear stories of other women. There's case studies in there. You're going to see the different aspects of healing, self-love, what codependency is. I mean, you have to understand something. What most people don't get is, okay, you're with a narcissist, you get pulled in there. But there's a big aspect of why are you in that to begin with? And you have to understand that you need to love yourself more as a person you are. And that you don't need somebody like that to validate you too. So a narcissist and a codependent always have that dance. So you're going to read a lot about that in my book. It's going to give you some clarity. It's going to give you some understanding, some decision making. And you'll understand how to heal. You'll find out different ways of healing and how to move on, So that's kind of like what my books, and then I have my course on my website, which gives you that guidance as well,
Okay.
And then of course you have me.
Okay. What do you think the damage that comes from all this? I mean, I assume you've seen, by witnessing, the damage, irreputable, fixable, the turnaround, some recoup, some never, some have scars that are deep as the Grand Canyon, all the above.
So if you're going to sit there and act like a victim about it, and you want that kind of attention, any circumstance, then healing is hard, right? If you want to get the attention, oh, woe is me, this happened to me, and he's a jerk or blah, 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 it's not going to solve the problem. I mean, when you really want your life back and you want to heal, right? That's when you're going to come to the point of, okay, I need to reprogram my mindset. I need to find my inner being again. I need to find my soul again. I need to connect to who I am again, what my life purpose is. How come this happened to me? How do I heal from this? And you grow into forgiveness, gratitude, understanding, and then all the different methodologies, especially meditation. I mean, meditation gives you so much strength and clarity into who you are and your life purpose that after doing this course with me, or after reading the book, or after being with me, so far, every person who's come to me has been successful. I haven't had a single person yet that has not healed. And it's a beautiful journey that I take with them. But you have to be ready to do your work.
You believe in meditation?
Oh, absolutely.
See, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I mean, I have my quiet times, but I have yet to be able to swear to where, you know what I mean? I do a lot of thinking. I'm alone a lot. I'm quiet a lot. But do I sit there and consciously meditate? No. I mean, even at my age, I just don't know what that is. I don't know
Well,
if I'm.
meditation. Go ahead.
Go ahead. So good.
Well, meditation is connecting to who you are. You know, that little voice that's inside, that you really feel the strength of it when your mind is clear. If you don't have the power of you and your mind, how are you going to have the power of anything else?
I think I talk to that little voice all the time.
You talk to the little voice all your time, but you shouldn't be talking. You should feel it. Like when you meditate, you clear your mind and you tap into your infinite wisdom, your soul. And there's such a sense of healing and strength that only person you can figure that out is when you actually do it. The only way
I don't know if I've gotten there yet, and I do it, and I don't know I'm doing it. But the thing is, like, I'm sitting and I'm focusing on things, and all of a sudden it's like, I need to start the washing machine. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. It's like, so am I defeating the purpose, or am I actually accomplishing something and don't even know it because I'm just being me and I'm me?
Well, you're being you, and that's fine, but you're putting weight and importance on your chores and things you have to do. But your moment in life is here. We don't know what tomorrow is. You
That
can
is
die
true.
tomorrow. You don't. And this is the moment. And wouldn't you want to be in peace? Wouldn't you want to be happy? Wouldn't you want to do your responsibilities without anxiety? How many times have people walk around like in the morning, they get a cup of coffee and half the time they don't know if they drank it, where they left it, what they're doing. But you missed the whole point of life. It's you drinking that cup of coffee because you like it, right? That's what mindfulness is. You know, and that's what's strengthening your mind, finding the peace, forgiveness. And when you have that, it's so empowering, you know, and things like road rage goes out the door. Nothing phases you anymore. You feel more relaxed because you know today.
You're telling me drinking a cup of coffee is empowering?
No, I'm telling you that you focusing on the fact that you drank a cup of coffee and know what's going on in your life at that moment is empowering. How many times have you driven somewhere and you don't even realize you got to destination B?
When I'm on the phone, that happens a lot. It's like, I can't believe I just passed, 14 exits, and we were talking on the phone, and I didn't even, you're conscious, but you're not. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if your conscious has the ability to drive 14 exits,
yeah,
how powerful is your conscience?
14 exits powerful.
But you don't have right. But you don't have the control. You're not controlling it, right? So
it's autopilot.
It's autopilot, but you got to have something that's doing this.
Sure. I just again, I'm just asking for, because I'm sure that I'm not the only one. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have considered meditation, but who actually sits and does it, and who actually really finds whatever that thing is, that like that it. I guess it is the word. I don't know. I may be experiencing it. What is it?
It's not it. You have to try it. You have to do a guided meditation once and relax your mind and go through it. There's no explanation or convincing about it. It's about clarity of the mind and empowering yourself.
My mind is like, you know what an egg beater is?
Okay, so you ever had this? But you know what? Our intuition is so strong. For example, right? You ever had a circumstance where let's say you're buying a house, right? You're buying a house, mortgage is good, titles, you're going to the closing, everything's set, but something's telling you don't do it, right? Something in your mind is like, you feel like, I'm not feeling good about this. But you know what? Now it's too late. Like everything is in set. I'm going to lose $10,000. I'm just going to go ahead anyway. And then afterwards you realize, I should have listened to myself. Look, I have ABC problems. That hasn't happened to you before.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. I mean, yeah, I do believe in that inner gut intuition. I do kind of as I've gotten.
There you go.
Okay, but what's that?
Inner gut intuition.
What's that got to do with the meditation, though?
That's what you connect to. That's what meditation is. It's connecting to your inner gut intuition and becoming more empowered and strong about that.
We're going to have a whole nother show on that, okay? Because I'm telling you, this is a whole nother, sure, I get it. No, I don't. I mean, I don't know. It's complicated. In my mind, it's complicated. Or I'm complicated.
It's actually not complicated at all. It's complicated because of the difficulty of doing it with today's culture and society and what is considered value. But there's so much studies of regrowth of gray matter, Harvard study of all the different blood pressure going down. You have the control of your own healing of your body. This whole science of epigenetics is there.
Sure.
But it's up to you. But each one of us have a life purpose, and we have to find that purpose. You know what? Everyone has different values of understanding, right? But my thing for me is I don't believe that I was supposed to be born to get educated, get married, buy a house, have kids, have a career, and to die. I just don't believe that's my purpose. I don't believe that's anyone. I don't believe that's what we're supposed to do.
What do you believe?
We all have a life purpose, and we should understand what gratitude is, what compassion is, what love is, what's peace amongst each other, how we're all energetically connected. We're all human beings. We all want to be happy. We all want to feel love.
Sure.
Yet our differences and our limiting beliefs, our aspects of what's right and wrong for somebody else overturns everything. Why? Because of our own ego? Or because of our own fears? Or is it because of our own teachings that are we brought up in that we can't understand to think behind it to let people live?
I think you're nailing it on the head right there.
Yeah. So when you think of all that, how do you understand that when you really go inside? And first is get rid of the anger. Like I see the amount of anger everybody has. Like, oh, why? Why do you want to live miserable? Why do you want to be unhappy?
Some people love
it. Because no, people like anger because it's this false sense of control.
Is it?
You feel powerful when you're angry. Sure. It's easier to be angry than to be vulnerable. It takes a lot of strength to be vulnerable.
Really?
It takes a lot of strength for someone to cry or be sad in public or in anything and be proud of that. It's much easier to say, I hate you than you hurt me. And people live in that, and that's fine. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to live like that. I want a clear conscience. I want to have peace. I like to be surrounded by people I love, and I like to love people. And that's it. And if people, and I feel positive about it. I learned that lesson through my relationships. I learned that lesson through my journeys and my path. And I feel content. And yet I'm a single mother, 4 kids, entrepreneur, bread bringer. I do it all. I don't have a nanny. I do it because I love it. Is it difficult? Sure. When people ask me, how do you do it? I said, why not? I'm not going to sit there and worry and think every little thing. It always falls in place. You can't control life. Life comes to you. But you have to be open enough to see it and grab those opportunities with a peace of mind.
I don't think a lot of people are open enough. I mean, there's a lot of things right in front of your face. I'm constantly learning. I mean, I've told people if it comes to failure, I'm to educate you. I'm at genius status. I mean, it's just because I keep on trying to broaden, change things, and I hit a lot of walls, and it hurts, but I can't stop because I'm dedicated. You know what I mean? And I'm not ashamed nor proud. That's why I put it out there. And one day I'm going to stop because just like tonight, we're going to break new ground. But I have to, if I don't put myself out there and tell things to let people know, it's like, it's not just you. I had people that have written me. I just saw something that came up on my Facebook because the beauty of Facebook, it brings up things from a year, 2 years, 5 years ago. It brings up these memory things. Somebody wrote me and told me, he says, you're very lucky, you're rich, and you're this and you're that. And it's like farthest from the truth. That was his perception, I mean, and I wrote him back and I said, no, I see what you're seeing right here, but this is Hollywood. This is, I mean, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to do this show from my bathroom? It's just the way it works. And you try to give everybody a good presentation, but I don't ever make to play Mr. Big Shot, ever.
But you want to know what, though? I'm just going to point something out, not to cut you off. Why he said that, whoever it was, because there's a part of them that is not content in their
Right,
life. Maybe it's
right.
in where they have to be envious and angry at somebody else.
I don't know if he was
And
angry,
that's
but he was envious.
sure, whatever. I mean, whatever the
Yeah,
circumstance, envious, angry, or bitter.
yeah.
Bitter. Why him, not me? And sometimes they don't understand. There's certain circumstances life has brought, but it can be for everyone. But come down, trust in the universe, trust in God, whatever you believe in. You have the power to manifest and be abundant. I had nothing. I don't know how I survived with my 4 kids. There are people waiting to see me drop dead. There's people still out there like, oh my gosh, how did she do it? I was ostracized by my own community. And now today it's a complete turnaround. Like you said, I can't even reach back to my messages.
But that's
But this
because
is
you got
life.
off the couch. You got off the couch. See, last night, I'm up at 1:30 in the morning telling people, hey, I want you to watch this show. You know what I mean? I want you to
Right.
see Dr. Bindu Babu. I want you to see this show. I'm up at 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't sleep. When my friends are like, hey, why don't we go do this? I go, I can't. I'm working. You know
I
what I
got
mean?
things to do
And I'm
too.
not a workaholic, but it's like, this is show business in a sense. It's like being a band. If you want a number one hit, you have to keep writing songs.
Right. You need discipline.
And I mean, the only thing I focus on, which really sucks, because I want to get back to the old me who used to just cruise through life. I had this great balance, but right now I'm working like a fiend because this is so important to me. Because it's important to me. I feel it's important for people.
It is. It is. And
Yeah.
and that's why when you brought up meditation, or you brought up, it's not a topic that I'm sitting there, oh, you must do it. It is everyone's calling. Gotta try it yourself. There's nothing else. No one can explain anything to you. It's something that's your relationship with yourself. And that's not something you can teach or tell or say is the right way or the wrong way. It just brings a lot of healing and clarity, and there's nothing wrong with it.
It makes me happy because I believe in what I do. And I rather die trying, because I had to reinvent myself again. I came from a musical background, and this divorce stopped me dead in my tracks. And the music business has become almost eviscerated. I mean, nobody's making records anymore. I mean, you're making records, but nobody buys them. And studios have gone from needing a drummer to like, I got this iPad that I can play drums with my fingers. I mean, it just put me out of business, kind of. And the biggest of the big are barely, they're just surviving, kind of. So,
Right.
and then all of a sudden this light came on, and I don't get that feeling very often. And it came into my gut, and I go, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, but I'm never going to let up, because if I let up, it's going to be hard enough as it is. And so here we are. But yet people you look at this, they go, well, CNN, whatever, but it's not. And I tell people that. I said, it's all up to the people that want to see this to make it happen. And this is where we're at. This is what I want to do with you. I'm breaking ground every day. I'm sticking my neck out. For the first time, I'm going to open up the phone lines with this new system. And if I don't know if it's going to work.
Let's try it.
Here's the thing. It worked yesterday. And that was another thing. I was up, we were working till 2 a.m. on Friday night. And then we're trying to make things work, and then couldn't make it work. I mean, almost there, and then continued on, like, while people are either sleeping or on the couch watching movies and all the things that are normal. I push that to the side, because again, it's important to me to bring as much as I can bring to you, to everybody out there, to bring more. And I said, we need to be able to take phone calls. And if anybody has something that they want to ask Dr. Bindu Babu, now's the time. At 818-259-7983. There's even a little ticker going across the screen. It's like, whoa. New to me. Before I used to have a big sign behind me with a number, and people don't want to call. They're shy. But if there's anything you want to ask the doctor before we let her go, because we're again, almost an hour has gone by just talking with you. And this always happens with this show. I have no structure. It doesn't matter. Nobody's, waving me on saying, time to go. And so long as the education and the lesson is flowing, I'll keep it going. But if anybody's got the guts or has something they want to ask the doctor, now's the time to do it. It may happen, it may not, but I'm putting it out there. And if it works, again, God willing, it's going to work. But in the meantime, we'll just keep on talking what we're talking about.
Sure.
Okay. You how many years you been in the business?
In this field of narcissism now, it will be 6 years. 6 years.
6 years.
Narcissist, yeah.
How long has it been since you're divorced, right? Completely?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been divorced?
I've been divorced now almost the same amount of time. Yeah, 6 years.
6 years. Okay. Well, everything works. It's amazing how certain dates and years and numbers you remember. I mean, they're like important things, like again, unfortunately, the death of my parents. My child's birthday, death. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your divorce. I guarantee you remember your divorce finalized date. I mean, just stuff that unfortunately you don't.
It's still no.
No, well, I do.
You don't care.
Well, I did care because I too got married, and I don't think anybody like you said it. Nobody gets married to go. Well, we'll get married, but eventually if we get divorced, no big deal.
No, it's not that it's not. I don't care because that I just don't. Look, I feel like it's part of my life that happened. It grew into who I am today, and I just leave it where it needs to be left. That's all. It's just It's just the way I think. Like I don't think about birthdays birthdays of course, but I'm talking about I don't think about things about my divorce or it was hard during that time because most narcissists don't give you an easy divorce. They'll prolong it as long as they can. It's a game or a toy for them, but I don't know. I feel like it's done. It was sad during that time, but I took time to heal and I realized it's a life purpose, and today I'm helping other people.
I get it.
I wouldn't have done it.
What?
I wouldn't have done it. I would have just been in medicine. I wouldn't have done this path if I didn't go through what I went through, and I wouldn't be teaching this kind of science to other clinicians if I didn't.
Again, had you not gone through it, and that's why it was so embedded in me, because I went through almost 3 years of courts and this and that, just beating a dead horse. I mean, at the end of the day, the result was the exact same, only tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars later.
Oh, yeah.
And that it changed me as a man. And I tell people all this all the time. Now, again, I love the woman I married. I really did. I tell my daughter that all the time, but it changed things. It just did. And I had to let things go, but I have to bring some of these things out in order to lead, again, by example, and that's the only way I can do it. In fact, I think I'm starting to forget a lot of this stuff, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because I want it for the book. Just learning things like the verbiage of courts and stuff. I can't stand that stuff. I hated it. I was sweating. I had to go to court a lot. I just did.
Just walking into the courtroom alone is just.
You're airing out your dirty laundry in front of people. I mean, it's just not even dirty laundry. It's just to me, it's embarrassing. I went through unnecessary stuff because it was all over custody. Hey, we got a call right now, and I'm going to take it, and cross your fingers that it's going to work. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, you're on with Life of Peter G. Who's this?
This is Brett.
Hey, Brett. Can you hear her? I can hear you. Dr. Bindu, can you hear him?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Hi, Brett.
Hi, Dr. Bindu.
What's up?
I'm just watching the show and I have a question for Dr. Bindu.
Sure, go for it.
Is it possible? I have a family member, not my wife, that has narcissism diagnosed. I don't want to walk away from it, so I was seeing, is leaving the only option, or is it possible to try to get them help?
See, the thing with a narcissist is it's their coping mechanism. There's somewhere along the line in childhood, they did not feel loved enough where they can't help but cope in this manner of always trying to control the other person for their validation and to feed their narcissistic supply. So it's always going to be inbred to them to continue that. A narcissist, unfortunately, cannot heal. Till date, no one can prove me wrong, and it's unfortunate. But a lot of them can you know, it all depends on the intensity of it, but a lot of them can try to be somewhat um, calm, but that's about it. You know, they can go through their therapy, and I'm sorry to say that because I know this is very painful. Because I'll tell you something: most of us who have been with narcissists, you know, you see the beauty and the potential of that person. You see the goods about them, and when they're in their goods, they are in their goods, and they explain so many things to you, and you feel like you can take care of them and help them and change them, and you wish if you can just, you know, change that knob like just a little bit, that you can deal with it. But unfortunately, a narcissist just can't change. They're going to always be like that. They can go to therapy, but eventually they will leave therapy and say that the therapist doesn't know what they're, talking about, that there's always something wrong with them. And the most important factor that I want you to know is that a narcissist, the reason they can't change is because they never believe that there's anything wrong with them.
Right.
The cause of the problem is always you. So if you don't believe there's something wrong with you, there's nothing for you to fix. So they'll always tell you to fix the partner. So it's a tough call.
How's that, Brett?
Yeah, well, it's open-ended, tough decisions to make and stuff. What about for myself? How do you not convince yourself that it is something that you did wrong or are doing wrong?
So in the sense that you tell me a little bit more, like, do you feel that you're the cause of the problem? Like, what, you got to just tell me a little bit more what you mean by that.
Just the way that they influence and make it feel as if it's stuff that I do as you know, and things that I'm the cause, just as part of the personality trait of a narcissist, that it's not them.
Well, see,
But you start to believe yourself.
Sorry, go ahead. See, the
You
thing
start
is,
to believe it yourself.
it's like this, right? When you're telling me this right now, there's a part of you that knows it's not your fault. There's a part of you that believes that you're doing everything you can to save the two of you. And now the question is, how long are you going to do that for yourself and for the person you love? And this is one of the hardest decisions you're going to make. Sure, you know, in relationships, it takes two people, right? Nobody's an angel. And I'm sure there's parts maybe you've said or done wrong. But in the case of a narcissist, they will continuously always find something wrong, that you're the reason and you're the cause for everything that's wrong between you and your relationship. So you have to be mindful about that and understand that that's not going to change. A narcissist will never owe up to their faults. It's going to always be you. So understand and believe in yourself, and believe just the fact that you're trying hard shows your kindness, right? It shows the love you have for your partner. It shows the person you are. So believe in your gut.
Brett?
Okay. Yeah.
What do you make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, and I want to thank you for having the guts to call in. I get a lot of people that want to just watch and hear what somebody else has to say, but I'm hoping that whatever is going on with you, you'll take to heart to what Dr. Bindu has to say, and don't cut yourself short.
Take it one day at a time. I know most probably that's not what you wanted to hear. I know I didn't want to hear that. I know most of my clients don't want to hear that. But take it one day at a time, because trust your gut, trust and see the red flags, and understand really clearly that narcissists cannot change.
Is there a medication that can help?
I wish there was. I believe me, I wish there was. There isn't. There's no medication that helps narcissism. It's the way that it's just their coping. It's their personality is like that. It's not like bipolar or schizophrenia or psychosis where you can put them on specific medications. This is a personality disorder, and this is who they are, and they will always continue the same life pattern for the rest of their life. Don't think that it would change if they were with somebody else or something else. It's nothing like that. This is who they are.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right. Got it, Brett?
Thank you.
All right. Listen,
You're welcome.
take it to heart. Thank you for calling in again. And thank you for watching. Subscribe. There's more of this to come. But take it to heart and don't shortchange yourself, all right?
Thanks.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Wow, we made one. That's one. I'll take one more before we call it a day. One more if somebody will call in. That's an if somebody will call in. Again, it's not like they're I have again, I know you don't watch, predominantly I'm on a late night show, but the thing is I have what I call my lurkers. They got the greatest hearts. They're dedicated, but they just watch. They want to hear what somebody else has to say. 818-259-7983. One last phone call for Dr. Bindu Babu. Anything you want to ask her for what she can bring, to you to help. If not, we'll just finish up the night. I haven't taken calls in a long time because it was a mess. I was having a problem with everything. It wasn't us or me or the guest. It was everything technical. Things were getting harder and harder to deal with Facebook. Really was. And I'll go into that after I let you go tonight one more time. But so now we've kind of changed things and now we're trying to carve a new path. I mean, I just want to get the message out and I want to get it clear and clean. I mean, like I said, if you're going to be here and you're going to, talk to me, it's like, or talk to my 3 or 3 million, it's like, you might as well, be heard. And when things go wrong, they go wrong really big. That's all I tell you. When I do something, we're either going down in flames or we're not going. But, all right. So in the meantime, again, one last try, people, 818-259-7983. If you want to talk to Dr. Bindu and ask her anything of worth that you want an answer to, but you may have gotten your answers just by the interview alone. I mean, it's very possible because again, we covered a lot of ground, but now's your chance.
I would like to suggest, and this is, I mean, it sounds like a marketing call, but it's not. I took a lot of my time into doing those courses on my website. And those courses really gives you that one-on-one time to understand the narcissist, why they do what they do, how they do it, how did that occur, where is this going to go? I mean, you're going to hear all the terminologies from gaslighting, flying monkeys, triangulations, and you're going to understand a little bit more how they convince everyone against you. It's to a point where, a partner who's with a narcissist, it comes to a point where they get isolated from the people they love. They're not allowed to talk to their friends anymore. They're not allowed to talk to their family anymore. A lot of times the narcissists try to destroy their career, ruin things like their relationships with their boss, financially strangulate them, gets control of strangulation. It gets very intense.
Does that not go more psychopath? Now we're going to, I mean, that's like getting crazy.
It
really
is. It gets very crazy. And you don't realize it's even happening to you because you will believe that it's your fault. And that's why even, when you listen to Brett or anybody, I mean, I commend Brett for coming on and saying that because it's right in your face that it's not you from the outside point. But when you're in it, you are going to believe it's you. There's no ifs, ands, about, like, you will not speak to your parents or your family members anymore because you will believe that they're going to brainwash you against your partner. Wow. Yeah. And it really gets there. They really isolate you and pin people against, even to a point they pin your friends against you. It's terrible.
I was beginning to believe when he called that he was asking for a friend, but as we progressed into the conversation, I felt like it was more like he really was asking for himself.
It could have been, yeah. Yeah, no, I felt it was from him.
At the beginning,
regardless, it was a good, yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry, what were we saying?
No, it fascinates me the amount of evil, so to speak, to destroy, and I've seen a lot of that family separation. You hear that all the time.
But I don't want you to say the word evil in this, because what's happening here is evil is when someone, it is consciously done. I agree. But this is a person who's damaged, who has a disorder, who is very well aware what they're going to do, but it's their coping mechanism. And it only brings hate when you utilize the word, because the victims are so betrayed. Eventually, you should see these websites that are out now. The websites, these chats, I hate them, they should die, this and that. I'm like, where's the healing in that?
People are
It's just
angry.
filled with poison. Yeah. But it's like now these angry cult groups. And I understand the anger, but where's that going to go? Like, okay, yeah, you're with the narcissist, and I was with a narcissist, and he did this to me, he's a bad person, and you're a jerk, and he did that to me. Okay, I get it. I hate them. They're horrible. I mean, you should see the venom. And I get it. But where's the healing? Why are you having all these cult groups? Like, it's terrible. So that's why I said, like, I get it, but you have to understand, you also are responsible by staying there.
Sometimes you don't even realize it.
Right. And that's because you need to really love yourself for who you are.
And that's why
you
we
have to learn to love yourself. Yeah.
And that's why you are here. And that's why I do this weekly. I mean, I'm a little bit, I break off the path every once in a while to mix it up. But the real truth of it is sharing this, because there's so many people, I guarantee you, that are going, wow, that's me. But they're, like a lot of, there's some people that are like plethora of diarrhea. I mean, they'll tell anybody and everybody they can get their hands on to complain, or not complain, but to vent. I believe in the pressure cooker. You got to let that out. If you hold it within, but there's a lot of people that hold it within, and then they start drinking or drugs or all kinds of mental health.
Yeah. Or they don't want people to know about their dirty laundry. Like you said, it's embarrassing. You don't want, the Joneses next door to know that there's something like this going on, or your kids. And, you just try to keep it together, and you should see my inbox. Like you were telling me about that, my inbox is filled with people asking questions. And I said, I try to get to them as much as I can, but it's hard. Yeah. And you see the amounts of people who are really suffering through this. So
we're just people.
But you can heal.
Yeah, I believe that too. And again, I believe that you can heal through things that for the people who are willing to lend a hand, to say, here, let me help you see the way. Some people need that when you fall down, you need a lending hand to pick somebody up, if it's humanly possible. And I do believe it is. Okay. But, again, we have gone way beyond what I had envisioned. No, I didn't even envision this. I figured this is how it was going to go. I'm kind of getting used to being on for long shows. That's why I'm no big giant hit, because these are long, deep shows, but they have a lot of worth to them. If there's anything you want to tell people about, to find you, how to find you, your courses, things like that, why don't you give it a shot and take it and tell people how and what you can do and what you do and where they can find you.
So for all of you who want to know a little bit more about me, you can go on my website, www.bindubabu.com, and you will see ways of either coming to one of my workshops in the near future. I miss my in-persons, but I usually hold a workshop where we'll have like 20, 30 people together and hash out some good, profound issues about life purpose, meditation, mindfulness, positive thinking, and healing. You can do one-on-one with me. I do virtually all over the world now. I have my courses. I have 3-part course, and I'm also coming out with a live course. Was probably the middle of this year, where it's a combination of having me plus the course. But right now, you can definitely go on. Those courses are really good. I spent a lot of time on them to really kind of break it down so most people can understand these science terminologies. A lot of times when you hear words and things, you confuse it as it is. You're already hurting. You're already in this cloud. You're already gaslit. You're already walking around, eggshells. So go through my courses, and you can Google me, Dr. Bindu Babu. I'm on Instagram, Dr. Bindu Babu, Facebook, Dr. Bindu Babu, Twitter, and if my takeaway, or what I would say is should be your takeaway from me, is if I can do it, anyone can, and I'm here to help you through it. So God bless you all, and good luck.
Wow. I'm telling you, tonight was a good night. Tonight was a good night. I mean, we made it. Number one, we made it.
We did. We
Look,
did. We did.
I get out of bed, and when I get out of bed, I really do show again, mentally appreciate the fact that I got out of bed, because not everybody's got that luxury of doing that. Some people don't make it, but this show is always every single week, every single day, no matter how much I prepare. It's just it's still a God, we did it, and thank you.
Yeah.
And
thank you for having me.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for, again, I know it's late in New York, and the East Coast people, I always have a hard time, but I truly appreciate it. I hope to have you on in the future anytime you want. If there's anything you want from me, because you reached out to me and said, if there's anything I can do for you, now I'm saying to you, if there's anything I can do for you, you need to let me know, because, again, I believe we just did something very good that's going to, replicate down the road. These shows, as I told you earlier, when we spoke earlier this afternoon, that, they're going to be, on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. You can take them, you can share them, whatever, if it's worth it to you. But the thing is, I think that somebody, if we did one thing, even for Brent, if we did one thing tonight, it's one more thing that I can go to bed at night and go, you know what? We did one thing good.
Yes.
Okay.
Same here. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a good night.
Pleasure.
We will talk again, but and that's basically it. So I'll talk to you soon, and thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Say bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Bindu Babu. Awesome, right? I thought so. I knew it. Straight from the heart. Experience too. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. I mean, God knows there's many of you who have lived it, and I hate to say that people have to go through this stuff to learn, but unfortunately, prime example right here, you have to go through this stuff to learn. I am still learning. Dr. Bindu Babu, remember, folks, this stuff is all going to be on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. We are live. I want you to please, if there's something good you're getting out of this, just to start subscribing to my YouTube. I've never really pushed YouTube. It's all up there. There's hundreds of shows up there. But I just used it as a storage facility because I was focused on Facebook. I wanted to build Facebook and be a channel on Facebook. But Facebook is getting really, really weird, and I will still continue to promote and push on Facebook. But God forbid anything is to change and go down. I want my people who care and give a shit to be somewhere else to be able to easily find me. So if there's anything, if you care about this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? Next week, I'm going to tell you why you want to be here next week. Next week, the infamous Baltimore's Mr. Bob Paff. He's going to be on the show. It's the last Sunday of the month. East meets West. And let me tell you something. I watch Bob Paff. We intermingle through Facebooks and Instagrams and LinkedIn's and all that. And I'm watching him. And I know that, the course of a month, there's a lot to talk about. So believe me when I tell you, next week, Mr. Bob Paff, we got a lot to talk about because he's been ranting a lot lately. Lots of change. It's been a hell of a month, January. Last Sunday of the month, January, next Sunday. East meets West, right here on Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show, live. Be here or be square. Don't be a party pooper. East meets West, Bob Paff. Again, I want to thank my Bolt Energy people, even though it's got a see-through can. Bolt Energy. God bless it. I got to work on that. I don't know what I'm going to do about that now. We have to find a new way. Our technology is just oh my God. Can I put it in front of it? No, it doesn't work. Bold energy. Why bold energy? No preservatives. All right? Enriched with vitamins, antioxidants. It's a cleaner energy drink. And I think it tastes great. Go out and ask for Bolt Energy. If you can't find Bolt Energy, go to www.drinkboltenergy and ask them. Say, hey, where can I find this Bolt Energy? I like the way it tastes. I think it's awesome. And again, cleaner energy drink. It's got a little bit of carbonation, give you that little kick in the ass, a little, pizzazzing. I like it. That wraps up tonight's show, people. We really took it. I knew I was going to. My problem is there isn't really no problem with this. It's just I want to feed you good information, and that takes time. You can't do that in 15 minutes, okay? Sorry, not sorry. You can't do it in 15 minutes. There's a lot of good stuff there, and I want, who I have on the shows to be able to express and explain themselves. It's worth it. Anything else? I will continue to ask you this from now on, is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please. I'm not begging you, saying if you like watching the show, take a minute, go to Peter G Show on YouTube and just subscribe. I'm slowly wanting to sweep my 3 million over there because I never really focused on YouTube. I just didn't. I just had this crazy notion I'd just stay on Facebook. But as life changes, things are changing. So I want to broaden that horizon. Do me that favor. That's what I'm going to ask for you, okay? From you. We'll see you next week, all right? Believe me when I tell you, it's really great to be here. You have no idea the time and effort it takes just to be here all week long, just to be here for this lousy hour and a half. I don't mean lousy, but for this short period of time, what it takes before we get here to be here, and then after it's over, start all over again. But I am truly grateful. And I'm grateful for the people who take the time out of their lives to watch and share. That's what I'm saying. Stay with me. I won't let you down. We're going to do nothing but grow, okay? Love you guys as always. I want to thank once again Dr. Bindu Babu for taking the time, being up late at night, just to be here to share life and some experience and stories with you. Hopefully it enlightened and enhanced your lives, okay? And if it did, share it. You don't know who you could be helping. Your story could be helping somebody else, just as mine did, as hers did, on and on and on, all right? Love you guys. See you next week. Peace out.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad.